I hope you had a great weekend. I just finished watching 2 back-to-back episodes of Yellowstone, so I am recording this very late. But here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of January 6th through the 10th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have your gap recap from December 30th through January 3rd, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. First up is RIVN. We ended the week at $16.49, up 24.45%. This is where we ended. Mark that out at $16.49. Do one other thing, make that just a little bit darker. To the north side from where we are takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at 17.19, above that 17.98 and 18.74. To the south side, the middle of the trend and the baseline, 15.62. Below that, we get back to a level of support that we have been to before, and this actually used to be the middle of the trend, these yellow lines. That is $14, 13.21, and roughly 12.42. Looking left, we have this gap up, and you know what happens. We gap up, we fill to the downside. Let me turn on my magnet and flip this over to red to signal a gap to the downside, and that will, let me move that out of the way, take us down to 13.27, closing out there. And then we have this gap also. And this gap. So here it says RIVN's automotive 2024 vehicle deliveries rose to 51,579, up from 50,122 in 2023. However, production fell to 49,476 units, down from 57,332 the previous year. Still, that made the ticker run 24%. RIVNs they're everywhere in my town. I don't like them. I don't think they're cute. The headlights remind me of a Dyson. I don't know why. I'm just not in love with those vehicles, but good for them. The ticker is finally rebounding again, and we are in an upward channel on the 5-minute time frame. Now, for the gaps to the north side, we've got this one, and that is in the range, at least to touch this on Monday. And the outer bands take us to the middle of the trend at 1933, and maybe by the end of the week, if we continue to climb, 2091 at 2 standard deviations. And that will take us out to 1746 or 50-ish there. And we have another gap right here. I will extend this. And then I have another one in the $20 range, but we're not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close, but just something to be aware of. But we are a long ways off there. And the next forecast is up to $23, and I believe that's where the next gap up will take us. I have to mark that out, so let's go to the next one. Oh, one other thing. Note the clear bounce here at support, ripping through resistance, and then here selling off, falling back down, slowly climbing our way back up. And if we go sideways, we could land here at 1562, and then if we get down to here, bounce off of that. But the RSI is appearing to turn down and a little more sideways. So just keep that in mind. Eventually, I'll just delete all those horizontal lines as well. Next up is TSLY. Oh my goodness, we did rebound. It got sad for a while, but look at this. Friday, 1371. Wow. I lost power on New Year's Eve, and then my internet was down. I think it was Monday, so I have not had a great trading week. Let me just put it that way, that I have not been able to participate. But I think things are back in line and back to normal, hopefully this week. All right, for TSLY, click it. Oh, I forgot to go through and mark out all my prices, so you'll have to bear with me. After all, I am charging free $95 to do this. Just kidding. Well, that is true, and actually I'm changing the colors of my price label in 2025. I was doing it in blue, and then I thought you can't really see it that well when I do the horizontal lines. So I'm landing on purple for right now till I change my mind again. All right, 1426 up 5.94%. We are at resistance and overextended here, and it looks like dropping. So watch out for that. Maybe we could hit anywhere in between here, and definitely a bounce off of there, and then continue to go down though, because we are still heading south on the 5. All right, but to the north side, 1462 and $15. There's a gap. Oh, that I'll clean that up in a second, but that touched there. So the middle of the trend takes us back to where we've been, and that is now at 1349, roughly 1346 the last time. But how long ago was that? That was weeks and weeks ago. That happened on Monday, September 23rd. Let me hit Control R to reset. Oops, Option R, excuse me. So the middle of the trend, the last time I did this, oops, Command Z. Did I delete it? I may have deleted it. Oh, no, that's not it. Huh, that's okay. I'm going to delete this one. Oh, that's because I'm looking at the wrong spot. Silly me. It's here I'm looking for from the previous week. So the previous week was here. Look at this. We stair-stepped our way down. So this was where we were. I have to turn off my magnet. It's pulling it. So from here to here, we are down 9.35%, but for the day up 5.94%. Let me remove that. So I want to, this is the middle of the trend, so I'm going to delete this one because that's too many horizontal lines and it starts looking ugly. I'll start deleting these as they get closer to each other. All right, then we've got 1272. If I didn't say that already, I've got myself sidetracked here. 1235 and 1198. Note the bounce here at support, 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 and now we are at resistance to the south side. That will close out at roughly 1201. This is my previous buy-in line, and here I believe. I'll have to go back and look. And let's clean up this gap. This is a gap that we have anticipated, taking us down to 1444. That did not touch there, I don't think. It looks like it did, but maybe just a hair. Yeah, I'll give it to you right there. But let me show you what this looks like on the daily time frame. Oh, these are all the weeks that I've been tracking for gaps that have filled. Oops, Option R. So we are at 1426 here. So this gap, oh, I have to go back to the time frame I marked this out. It's not looking good. But just to show you, We tracked this one. So we gapped up. Look how many weeks it took to get back all the way down. So that one started, well, this one started on December the 2nd. Oh, yeah, this is looking ugly. So let me just do one thing, and I'll extend this one too. Let's go back to the 5 and clean this up, because that is the time frame that I marked this, so it looks cleaner. So we have this gap that I pointed out right there. So that is no longer in play. I will delete that. And then this one needs to be cleaned up. It was a tiny one. It looked like it touched here, but it didn't. See? And when I extend these, I have no idea when they're gonna touch. That's why you have to go back and clean it up. But this gap opened up on December 5th, no longer in play to the south side at 1496. What else? Oh, that one's done. That one's done. Okay. And this one, that took us down to 1444. I'll say right there. Oh, that was just another price label, I guess. I already cleaned that up. And now we have these gaps to keep in mind. So that could touch for sure on Monday. Will it close out? I don't think so. We're up here. To get all the way down to here is asking for a miracle. But if it does and wicks down that way, you can bet it's going to get bought up. And this gap, oh, what happened here? So this one opened up on Thursday the 2nd. And we closed right there on Friday. So congrats if you played that gap to the upside. And basically that lines up with 1426. And as far as the next gap to the upside, it will be this one starting here. I'm just going to do it where it closes out. But that starts at 1564. And then we've got this one as well, taking us up to 1947. And I forgot to mark out RIVN's middle. Oh, I did do it. Never mind. Okay, back to TSLY. Note the bounce here at support, as I mentioned, and we are at resistance. So watch out for a break to the south side. And yes, we could touch these levels and then bounce off that. And SOFI is next. We ended the week at 1484. Option R. $15.24 and $15.63. We are at resistance to the south side at support. Takes us back to this middle of the trend at 1405. Let me mark it out. These are my previous buy-in points, I believe. And down here, 1328, 1289, and 1249. So we've got this gap here and down to here. SOFI's given it up. 1299-ish. Oops. And this upper band or channel there, 1194. And we are going south on the 5, but what is the 1-year price target? The 1-year price target is now $20. It's going to take a while to get there, as you can see. We are overextended on the RSI, so we'll watch out for that as well. As far as the gap to the upside, that is at 1538. And this one opened up last week as well. And that will take us to roughly 1567 on the lower band there. Note the bounce at support and support. I don't know why I marked the 1663. I play around when I'm not doing a video, but I just mark things out for my own analysis, so I don't know what I did here. I will just delete that now. No big deal. We're so far away from it, doesn't matter. Note the sell-off here at resistance. All right, the middle of the trend, as I mentioned, is here, but why do I have this in white? I think that's a price target. A previous price target. Well, $12 was a price target. And yeah, so here is a price target, and that, so July 15th of 2023, tip ranks, 1 year forecast, high of 14, average 841, low of $3. Really? It was $3, huh? Wow. But now that was at 14, and now that is the middle of the trend at 14 as well. Back to the 5-minute. Yeah, SOFI looks like a hot mess with all my lines, so I should go through and delete them one of these days. Okay, 463, 476, 483, 490. The middle of the trend is where we are. I will mark that out. Let me change the price label as well. Very close to that, so I'm going to delete it in just a second. 450, 443, 436. Looking left. This gap closed to the downside on Tuesday. No longer a threat to our account. Note the bounce off of support at 435. Delete. That is done. That opened up on December 19th. Closed out on the 31st. And this one, oh, I never cleaned this one up. Interesting. Got sloppy there. All right, this one closed out on Monday the 30th, out of the gate at 443. I was off here. So that's done. What else? Okay, we have this gap that I either discovered it later after I did the video, or I just forgot to extend it. So that opened up on Friday, December 24th, closed out to the upside at roughly 468. So that is done. And then we're at resistance. So we fell down, made our way back up to another level of resistance, falling back down through support, going sideways, making an attempt to go through, just grinding along this middle of the trend. And here we are. I will now delete one of these lines. So which line should I delete? Well, this was an old middle of the trend, as well as this one, but this was an older one that I marked out on the week of the 9th. So I will just delete this one because this is a couple weeks ago. So let's get rid of this one for giggles. But where was the previous? Oh, the previous week. Wow, these are all, I must have deleted it already. Okay, yeah, I don't see it. That's okay. So we have this gap to the upside starting at 488. This one starts at 497 and takes us out to 517. Well, let me just mark that one. And while I have this here, let's do that one as well. Oh, wait, that's supposed to be green. Okay, there we go. And the outer band, see, by the end of the week, if we continue to go north, the middle of the trend could take us to 1495 and then 509 for the upper channel. We shall see on that as well. I'm going to delete that. And then we have this gap at 417, 395, but we are moving farther away from it. Okay. The RSI, gonna move that line. Oh, turning down. So I will anticipate price to fall just a little bit until this reverses, and then that should reverse as well. Next up, Intel. I was so busy, I forgot to go through and mark the price labels. I usually like to do that before I start my video. 2071, 2081, 2092 to the south side, 2050, 2028, 2018, and 2007. Looking left, this gap closed out over here, but look, we bounced off of this middle of the trend line. That's an old buy-in line of mine that's now gone. I've already sold out of this position down here. Now this gap opened up and touched right there on Tuesday, so no longer in play. Note the sell-off. Well, here, resistance, 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 resistance. This is your sell, sell, sell line from up here, and then you get down here. This is a bounce. That's resistance, and this is a potential buy, buy, buy. That's one way to do it. Or you could use it as a stop loss. All right, so this is the middle of the trend. And last week we were here. The week before, did I delete it? Good Lord, we've lost a lot of headway here. Oh, the week before we were here. So we went, let me show you this again. So this is this week, which lines up basically with the previous week. But then we were here also. So we went from here to here and then just basically going sideways. Even though we were going up here, the middle of the trend is where we were before. What else is going on with Intel? Oh, I sold out at 2142 previously, I believe. So now I need to extend this all the way, closing out at 2913. Oh, we've got this little gap, I guess. Oops. I've been tracking. It's kind of small, so the standard deviations will wipe it out once we get to that level, but it's kind of fun, something to look forward to the upside instead of all this negative stuff. All right, what's going on with this one? I forgot to clean this chart up a long time ago. We touched there on December 5th. No longer a threat to the downside. So that's done. think, oh, we've got this little one. Didn't mark out. That touched right there on Monday the 18th, looks like maybe. Oops. All right. And $24.96 to the downside. That was my Telegram ding. If you've never joined Telegram, I find it super duper invasive. When you start an account, every single person in the whole entire world that has your phone number knows you joined Telegram. I don't understand that. For something that should be private, it's the weirdest, most bizarre thing. I feel it's very crude too. Like, I don't know, just very basic. And it has gained popularity. And I only did it so that I could talk to some people in one of my HOA groups. But I'm not a huge fan. But I do like that ding. That ding, just like other dings, you know that's a Telegram ding. All right. I digress. 2071, 2081. Wait a minute. I already said this. Duh. You know what? It's getting so late that I should not have watched 2 back-to-back Yellowstones because my mind is elsewhere. All right, I'm done. I was cleaning up the chart. That's what I was doing. Okay, now I need to really blaze through this. Unilever. We ended the week at right there, 56.51. 56.56, 56.79, 56.89, 57.01. 56.34, 56.23, 56.12. Notice that we are just grinding around this middle of the trend, back and forth, back and forth. It's a tennis match here. This gap opened up, ran up. See here, we made it to 4 standard deviations. That's not a common occurrence to go from down here all the way to 4. And when it does happen, you can bet people will take their profits and they will run, they will lock in, and they will leave. And that's exactly what happened. Back down to support and then grinding back up to resistance. That's like a unicorn for one day. I always anticipate 2 and -2 standard deviations all day long, every day. But out to 4 up to 4 standard deviations when you're really low at like -2 standard deviations, some miracle has to happen. A war. Tesla's Cybertruck explodes. And let me tell you about that story. There's all kinds of shifty stuff going on with that story. All right. This gap to the upside opened up back on December 30th. 57.42. I cannot wait for Elon Musk and Vivek to take over DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency. Maybe they can come and talk to my HOA, audit the books. That'd be great. That gap closed. My HOA posted another HOA's financials. If you have Camco, I recommend you go with somebody else. We've had problems after problems after problems. Okay, 56.34, 56.28, 56.12. That's just one of my HOAs, but that HOA also didn't give proper notice for a meeting. How basic is that? The manager should know that. If a manager who has a license doesn't know that, they should be fired. Okay, that is it for Unilever. 56.56 is the middle of the trend. And last week we were at this level at 57.53. Look at that fall. And we're still falling on Unilever. I'll just mark that out right now. 73.31. I will put that in purple for the new year. All right. 74.47. 75.05. 75.68. 71.97. 71.35. 70.70. And I extended that. Yeah, see, look at this. I extended the gap because while it appears it touched, but it didn't. And look at that. Getting close. We could definitely touch that this week, the week of January 6th. For sure. Then please, let's touch this. Hopefully that turns into support and then bounce off of that. Now the gaps to the upside include this one. This one opened up. I'm going to say that touched. Yeah, we'll just end it there. So that touched to the upside at 76.37. And then we've got this one at 79.03. And then we have this one. Oops. Command Z just to redo. And then this one, 81.45 there, 83.85. I'll go through and clean this up later. All right. Okay. I want to see something very quickly. Yep, there's nothing I want to, any lines. No, I'm going to keep that one because this was the previous week. Yeah, that's all right. And SOFI. Did I do option R? Oh, you know what? That was sloppy of me. Why the heck did I? That should be right there. Okay, that looks better. All right. Nike I'm done with as well. Boeing. $169.90. Okay, to the north side. 170.07-ish. Very close to this line, so I might just delete that in a second. 173.12, 174.66, 176.20, 167.11, 165.54, 164.06. That will take us to the north side at 180.79. Note the bounce here in the support area all the way up. Sell off at resistance, resistance. This gap is not in play. on Monday, but if we continue to go south, that could definitely touch by the end of the week at 157.57, and then another gap 149.38. But it appears, just at a quick glance, that all we're doing is making this inverted U, just retracing our steps back, and then once we touch these gaps, hopefully we bounce. And that's, well, that actually on Monday, that's already hitting, almost hitting the oversold area. So, oops, I anticipate just going down a little bit more and then bouncing off the support line. And what else? Oh, we've got gaps up there, but we are not in the channel, not in the zone, not even close. Let's talk about Estee Lauder. Option R. Oops, Command Z. Change that to purple. Middle of the trend, 72.48, 74.02, 74.84, 75.61, 70.93, 70.22, and to an area we've been before, 69.43. Note the bounce at support, sell off at resistance. That gap will take us up to 87.05. And what about anything else to the south side? Nah. Boy, last week was pretty bad, but then we did go back up a little bit, but it got nasty. All right. Oh, I forgot to do one thing with Boeing. No, that looks all right. I was just looking. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. So this line is very close to this one. Since I don't need these lines, I just mark it out for giggles for me to tell what direction price is going to go, possibly if we go sideways. And last week we were here. So we went from here and stair-stepped down to here. That is down almost 6%. But I don't need this line anymore, and I marked out this line the week of December the 16th. Let's delete that. All right. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Okay, did Estee Lauder, done with that. Is that the last one? Yay, finally. I'm down to 9 tickers that I'm tracking for gaps to the upside to fill. And these gaps have not filled to the upside in a very long time. I've been tracking these same tickers forever. The last one that was on here, I think, was TSLY. And it hit my target that I was tracking, and I removed it. So I'm hoping in 2025 we can get rid of some of these. And that does it for me. There are some other videos I need to do. I need to do several videos for Trader Murat, who identified some things for me, and CLS is one of them. And this is not part of the Gap and Go, but I just wanted to point this out. A note that he sent to me on the 5th. So you know what? Since I'm here, I'm just going to do this very quickly or right now, even though, again, this is not part of my Gap and Go. 96.92. So to the north side takes us to roughly 97.43, 98.67, $100.05, the middle of the trend. 94.85, 92.26, 90.91, and 89.59. So he mentioned that we may see lower perfect forward PE of 21. For this reason, he's not expecting CLS to drop after earnings in 24 days. Analysts should revise their forecasts on CLS and include CLS in the S&P 500 in the near future. That would be amazing, into the big leagues if that were to happen. So Murat is tracking that, and he talked about this ticker back on Friday, November 22nd. Made a note of it. So I did a video, and we gapped up and then filled it on the way down, and then we completed this gap at 82.40. So I will clean that up while I'm here. And then that gap is still in play. And this gap all right, that gap closed at 91.27. That we gapped up, so this is an actual gap down. I will change the color. That will take us to 93.24. All right, and that is within the -2 and 2 standard deviations, so I will anticipate that to close. And let me take a look at this on the daily. You will get different buy and sell signals, and we are not overextended just yet, but here's the earnings that he was talking about. All right, they're expected to bring in $2.43 billion. Amazing. So let me move this out of the way. We are at 2 standard deviations. We are overextended, but this tells me we have room to go before we crack to the south side. And the highest we've gone is 85. Keep that in mind. Or, nope, just even higher. Oh, sorry, 89. Almost 90. So we may not hit this level, or we could hit it and even go past it, but just keep this in mind. Bells and whistles should go off if we get that high, because it will probably retrace. Option R, let me redo that. Now, did I give you, no, I didn't. Well, yeah, I did. Well, I don't know. Let me just do this again. 106.04 and then 114.02. And this will take us to 80.25, close to that gap, taking us down to 75.70. And then the bottom channel, 62.77. But then this is the nightmare that is still going to haunt us. Who knows when it's going to close? But that would be a steal. Okay, that does it for me. I hope you guys have a fantastic trading week. And if there's a ticker you would like me to go over, please let me know. And I will talk to you later.